Yeah.
AEW Dynamite continues to be boring and bland, and the go-home show for Double or Nothing this Sunday was no exception. At this point, it is what it is. Who really cares? AEW used to care about Double or Nothing, but for the past couple of years, they have not really cared about one of their big shows. And this is basically one of their big shows of the year, next to All In. But all they care about is basically All In. So, whatever. I feel bad for the people who have to spend that money to go to Double or Nothing. I really do. And then those of us who have to watch it at home, we got to spend $50 unless you're able to find a couple of sites where you can, watch it and the feed actually work and be, good and not buffer. So, there's that. But whatever. So we're going to go ahead and get into the review, and then from there we'll get into Double or Nothing predictions. All right, so we kick the show off with Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page. This is their final face-off for Double or Nothing. So Will Ospreay comes out along with Hangman Adam Page. They both get pretty decent reactions. Will asks Tony, do you still drink? The two of them grab a couple beers and everything else. So, Will Ospreay said that he talked to Tony Khan, and their match on Sunday is going to be the main event. He says not only is the Owen Hart Cup on the line, not only does the winner go to All In Texas for his title shot, that person carries the responsibility of bringing back that Pretty Gold belt. Ospreay talks about how he put in a bunch of work, and he wants to go to Forbidden Door in London with the title around his waist to thank the fans for their support. The most important thing to him is to have his little son look at him at that day as the world champion. He understands how much Hangman Adam Page wants this, but he wants it a little bit more. So Hangman acknowledges that there's a difference between both of them. He knows that Will Ospreay wants it, and he understands the feeling. He's been there before. He knows that Will Ospreay knows how important the AEW World Heavyweight Championship is to the business. To Ospreay, this could be a professional accomplishment. But to Hangman, this is personal. Hangman doesn't want this opportunity. He needs it. And then he talked about how around Christmas time, he looked at his son. He stared back at his pops. He was looking out the window. Hangman says that he needs this. He needs his wife to look at him in his eye and see the man that she fell in love with. He needs it for his family. He needs it for the fans that supported him through everything. He also needs it for himself to know that there's light at the end of this 2-year tunnel through hell. And he needs to know that Will was wrong about it being a little bit too late for the Hangman. So Will Ospreay continues to talk about is Hangman going to, basically be a bad guy? Is he going to wrap a chair around his head? Is he going to try to retire him just like he did Christopher Daniels? So Ospreay's not going to he's not going to rule that out. He says that he knows that Hangman's beaten Moxley a couple times, but him and Moxley have faced twice, and he's come up short. So, he says that the past 2 years have changed Hangman, losing the trust and respect of the fans and the guys in the back. How the hell did that happen? When you got Ricochet running around stabbing people with scissors, how the heck does that happen? He needs Hangman to know that he's bringing his best on Sunday. Before he writes Ospreay off, he needs to remember that he's beaten some of the best. That includes MJF, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson and a bunch of others, Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho. And then he basically just says that he wants him to meet him in the desert because he's calling him out this Sunday for a shootout. And then the two of them, they share beers. They both take a swig, and they both walk up the ramp, and they both look at the Owen Hart Cup, and they stare each other down, and that was the end of the segment. This was fine. I kind of enjoyed this, but this was a little bit too long. And they both basically just said the same thing, how it's important to them and their kids and all this and the third. But Hangman has a great character arc, and that to me is what makes him kind of the better man, where he has to win. But, it is what it is. But I do think that Will Ospreay probably will end up winning more than likely. But since Darby Allin is back and he's climbed Mount Everest successfully, he might somehow weasel his way back around. So I don't know. Who really gives a shit? Moving on. This leads us into the first match of the night. Jon Moxley and the Young Bucks versus Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs, the Ops, and Swerve Strickland. So basically, the babyfaces, they win. I don't really care about this. Post-match, there was a brawl that took place. Kenny Omega was about to do the one-wing angel through a table via Nick Jackson. But, Nick Jackson was saved. Who cares about this shit? Moving on. So the Hurt Syndicate, they're backstage. Their legal counsel is greeted by MJF. He's wearing a fancy gold and black suit, along with his legal counsel. MVP says they'll see him in the ring later. So, as MJF leaves, Mark Sterling, he shakes hands with the Syndicate's counsel. Okay, that's fine. Then, this leads us into the contract signing. Basically, the contract signing, it does go through. And MJF was about to say something, and then Dustin Rhodes, he comes out along with Sammy Guevara. Dustin Rhodes just talks some crap about, how they're day ones and how they're hardworking guys and blah, blah, blah. Who gives a shit? So Dustin Rhodes says that word on the street is the Hurt Syndicate likes to hurt people, so jump on him. Hurt him if you can. He says the match this Sunday will not be a walk in the park, as the two of them have a lot of heart and work ethic. If he's a betting man, he'd bet on the day one guys. So they'll see the Hurt Syndicate at Double or Nothing. This was lame. This is a waste of time. But at this point, I don't give a damn. Moving on. So Okada, he addresses Mike Bailey backstage. He's saying that Speedball doesn't call him out. He calls out Mike Bailey. He challenges Speedball to a match at Double or Nothing. And then he says that he'll leave still holding the title. Trust me. All right, that's fine. Whatever. Who cares, really? Okada has fallen from grace, man. Holy shit. He's fallen from grace. Like, seriously. Like, what is this guy doing, bro? What is he doing? But what if? Moving on. Ricochet defeats Anthony Bowens. I don't care about this at all. Mark Briscoe shows up. He comes up with a stretcher. He was about to do the froggy bow through the stretcher, but Ricochet got out of dodge. I don't care about this shit at all. Moving on. FTR, they cut a promo backstage with Stokely halfway. I don't care about any of this at all. It's a waste of time. Moving on. All right, so this leads us into Mercedes Moné and Jamie Hayter. They have a segment. Jamie Hayter puts herself over about, how she wants to get back to being a champion like she once was. She promises that she's going to fight back over and over again. That's because that's who she is. She's a fighter through and through. So Mercedes says that it's her destiny to be champion, and she wants to basically just leave a legacy. So Jamie Hayter then says that Mercedes is basically missing one of her championships, the New Japan Women's Strong Championship. And then she says maybe that was Mercedes' destiny was to lose that. So this pisses off Mercedes, and then there's a brawl that breaks out between the two of them. So whatever. I don't give a shit about this either. This leads us into the main event. Mina Shirakawa, she defeats Julia Hart. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Like, what is this shit? So, Tony Storm's on commentary. Post-match, Sky Blue and Julia Hart, they attack Mina Shirakawa, and Tony Storm makes the save. Okay, that's fine. Then the Young Bucks, they're walking out the door. So they were talking about how the ops were supposed to come after them, but they didn't show up. And then this just leads to a massive brawl involving, the Death Riders, Swerve Strickland, and everybody else. Who cares? It doesn't really matter. I don't care about this shit. That was the show. Waste of time. What's done is done. I really think that AEW really needs help. I have no idea why they don't care about Double or Nothing. I really don't understand why they do. I don't know why it's such a weak card, but at this point, there's nothing we can do. So, we got 8 matches on the card. Most of these matches basically feel like matches that shouldn't be on the card. This should really be, at best, a 4 to 5 match card, and I'm not going to hold you up. But, whatever. So, we got 8 matches on the card. FTR versus Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness. FTR is going to win. Who cares? This should be on Dynamite. Mark Briscoe versus Ricochet. Ricochet's going to basically win. Stretcher match. That should be on Dynamite or Collision. The Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin versus the Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. The Hurt Syndicate is obviously going to retain. If this match goes 25 minutes, I'm going to lose my shit. This match should not be 25 minutes. This match should be, at best, like 10 minutes or less. This should be like 8 minutes. And this is another match that should take place on Dynamite. Toni Storm versus Mina Shirakawa for the AEW Women's World Championship. This is a no-nothing match. This was just done because, well, Tony lost to Mina in a fatal 4-way like a week and a half ago. So that's why it's happening. Whatever. Toni Storm's going to win, obviously. Then this leads us into Kazuchika Okada versus Mike Bailey for the AEW International Championship. Okada's going to clearly win this. This should be the work rate match of the night. Basically, that and Hangman and Will Ospreay. So, yeah. All right. Anarchy in the Arena. Kenny Omega, Swerve, Willow Nightingale, the Ops, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and everybody. Shibata. Facing the Death Riders, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Marina Shafir, and Wheeler Yuta, and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. So, I'm pretty sure the heels are going to win this one. Why wouldn't they? I want to have Jon Moxley be strong heading into All In. So, why not? But I don't give a shit about this. This should absolutely open the show. For real. Just to waste everybody's time for a good 25 to 30 minutes of the show. All right. The Owen for the women. Mercedes Moné versus Jamie Hayter. Mercedes is going to obviously win. I mean, it's that simple. Jamie Hayter, her time in AEW has kind of passed her by, basically. And I don't see Tony Khan renewing her contract. I mean, ever since she came back at the pre-show, what was that, maybe 3-4 months ago at Revolution or whenever that was. Yeah. I could see her not being re-signed whenever her contract is up. So I would, if I was her, I would go to either TNA or NXT. So, whatever. Main event of the evening, Will Ospreay versus Hangman Adam Page. The men's Owen final. Who wins this? I'm going to go with... For the character arc, I want to go with Hangman, but we know AEW doesn't really give a shit about story, so they're probably going to go with Will Ospreay. I'm going to go with Will Ospreay winning. It honestly makes the most sense. You might as well go ahead and give him the title. Have him beat Moxley at All In, and then you run him and Darby back in September or whatever. So that's what I would do. But I really don't care about Double or Nothing. I'll probably be watching NXT Battleground a lot more. So whatever. But I'm still going to watch both shows. I'm still going to review both shows. So it is what it is. But what did you guys think about Dynamite? And what are your predictions for Double or Nothing? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.